is a presentation on advanced radical equations by Mathematically Marcia. You may remember from the last video that the inverse operation of a square root is a squared. So to get rid of the radical, I have to square it. So on the left side, the square and the square root cancel. We're left with x plus 6. Then on the right side, we have an x squared. Now we have a quadratic equation. So we want to get everything on the same side. I'm going to move everything over to where the x squared is. So we'll subtract x, subtract the 6. So that leaves me with 0 over here. And then x squared minus x minus 6. Now we need to factor that. So to factor that, I need a times c, which is 6. Factors of 6 are, actually it's negative 6. So our signs have to be different, and b is negative. So the larger number is negative. So we have 1 times negative 6, doesn't work. 2 times negative 3, that works. So x plus 2, x minus 3. So 0 equals x plus 2. 0 equals x minus 3. Subtract 2. Negative 2 equals x. Add 3. 3 equals x. Okay, because this started out as a radical equation, we do need to check our solutions and make sure none of them are extraneous. Okay, so let's start with the negative 2. We had the square root of x, which we're going to say is negative 2, plus 6 should equal negative 2. Right there we know that doesn't work because our radical cannot equal a negative number, so we have to throw that one out. Now let's try the 3. Square root of 3 plus 6 should equal 3. So square root of 9 should equal 3. So 3 does equal 3. So x equals 3 is our only answer since we had to throw the other one out. Alright, let's get another one here. Start by squaring each side. So 4x minus 3 equals x squared. So now since it's a quadratic equation, let's get everything on the same side. I'm going to move it to the right since that's where the x squared is. And then we do the opposite of 4x and the opposite of minus 3. And when they move to the opposite side, they have the opposite sign. So now a times c is 3. And it's positive, so our signs are the same. Negative 1 times negative 3, and that works. That gives me negative 4. So 0 equals x minus 1, x minus 3. So 0 equals x minus 1, 0 equals x minus 3. Here we add 1, so 1 equals x. Here we add 3, so 3 equals x. Now we just need to check, make sure we don't have any extraneous solutions. So if x is 1, we have 4 times x, which is 1, minus 3, which should equal 1. So that's 4 minus 3, which is square root of 1, which is 1. So that one checks. Okay, now let's check the 3. So 4 times 3 minus 3 should equal 3. So that would be 12 minus 3, and then square root of 9, which is 3. So this one checks also. So 1 or 3 could be the answer to this equation. Okay, let's start again by squaring both sides. And remember, the square and the square root cancel. So we're left with negative 7x minus 12 equals x squared. Now, since it's quadratic again, let's get everything over to the same side. I'm going to move it to where the x squared is. So x squared plus 7x plus 12. Remember, when you move it to the opposite side, you have the opposite sign. Now a times c is 12. Everything is positive. So we have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. That works. So 0 equals x plus 3, x plus 4. So 0 equals x plus 3, 0 equals x plus 4. Subtract 3. So negative 3 equals x. Subtract 4. Negative 4 equals x. Now let's check our two answers to see if they work. With the negative 3, you have negative 7 times negative 3 minus 12 should equal negative 3. Remember, the radical can't equal a negative, so we have to throw that one out. With the negative 4, negative 7 times negative 4 minus 12 should equal negative 4 again. Can't equal a negative. Well, we just eliminated both of our solutions because they were extraneous, and we don't have any more solutions. So my final answer is no solution. Nothing is going to work with this particular equation. Okay, again, to eliminate the radical, we have to square it. So when I square that side, I also have to square this side. But I have to square the whole side as a unit. It's not just x squared plus 3 squared. We have to do x plus 3 squared. So on the left, the square root and the radical cancel, and we have x plus 3. On the right, we have to square the binomial. So remember, to square a binomial, we square the first term, multiply them together times 2. So that would be 6x plus 3 squared, which is 9. Now this is quadratic again. So let's subtract these over here. Now notice I line them up with the like terms. So over here I have 0. We're trying to get everything on one side. Then x squared plus 5x plus 6. So now let's factor. A times c is 6. And everything's positive. So we have 1 times 6. Doesn't work. 2 times 3, that adds up to 5. So 0 equals x plus 2, x plus 3. So x plus 2 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 2. X equals negative 2. Subtract 3. X equals negative 3. You may be thinking in the last couple examples the negative numbers didn't work, but they might this time, so we need to go ahead and plug them in and check it. Don't ever assume anything. So let's check the negative 2 first. So if x is negative 2, we have the square root of negative 2 plus 3 equals negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Notice over here, when I add those, I don't have the radical equal to a negative. So sometimes a negative answer does work. Be careful with that. So square root of 1 is 1, so that one does in fact check out or work. So we can keep that answer. And let's try the negative 3. So negative 3 plus 3, or the square root of negative 3 plus 3, should equal negative 3 plus 3. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And the square root of 0 is 0. So that one also works. So we have two answers again, negative 2 and negative 3. All right, to get rid of the radical, we have to square both sides. So remember that cancels, the square and the square root cancel, so we're left with 3x plus 1 over here. And on this side, x squared minus, you got to double the product, so 3 times x is 3x, doubled is minus 6x, and then square the less. So anytime you square something, it's positive. Now let's get everything on the same side. Remember, line up your like terms when you do this. So we have x squared minus 9x plus 8. So a times c is 8, which is positive, so the signs are the same. And b is negative, so they'll both be negative. So negative 1 times negative 8. And that does add up to negative 9. So that's the pair we're looking for. So 0 equals x minus 1, x minus 8. Then x minus 1 equals 0, x minus 8 equals 0. So x equals 1, x equals 8. Now we need to check them to make sure that they actually work. So let's try 1 first. We have square root of 3 times 1 plus 1 should equal 1 minus 3. So 3 times 1 is 1 plus 1 is 4. And 1 minus 3 is negative 2. The radical can't equal a negative. So we have to throw that one out. And then the 8. Square root of 3 times 8 plus 1 should equal, didn't mean to put parentheses, 8 minus 3. So 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So square root of 25 should equal 5, and that does equal 5. So that solution we get to keep. So this time we only have one solution. Okay, we do have a radical on both sides this time. But remember, when you square a side, you have to square the whole side. So on the left, this is like squaring a binomial. The radical is a term. That's our first term. And when we square that, we do get x minus 2. Then we have to double the product. So 2 times x minus 2 times 2 would be 4. Radical x minus 2. And then square the last plus 4. So we do still have a radical on this side. We do get rid of the radical on the right. So you can only get rid of one at a time. Let's combine these right here. So x plus 2 plus 4, radical x minus 2 equals 2x plus 4. Now let's get the other radical by itself. Do the opposite of these. Again, line up your like terms. So 4 radical x minus 2 equals x plus 2. We could divide everything by 4. I don't know that I would this time. Let's just keep it and square it too. So now we'll square both sides again to get rid of the second radical. So 4 squared is 16 times x minus 2, which still needs to be grouped together. But since the radical's gone, we can use parentheses. Then when we square the binomial over here, we have x squared, double the product, 2x times 2 is 4x, square the last, which is 4. Okay, now let's simplify and get everything on the same side. This would be 16x minus 32 equals x squared plus 4x plus 4. Since this is quadratic, let's get everything on the same side. So minus 16x plus 32. So 0 equals x squared minus 12x plus 36. So A times C is 36. And it's positive, but B is negative, so everything is negative. Negative 1 times negative 36 does not add up to negative 12. Negative 2 times negative 18 does not add up to negative 12. Negative 3 times negative 12 doesn't work. Negative 4 times negative 9 doesn't work. Negative 6 and negative 6. That works. So 0 equals x minus 6, x minus 6. So x minus 6 equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0. We have what's called a double root. We don't usually list it twice in our final answer. So, but we do need to check 6 and make sure it does in fact work. So let's plug it in. If x is 6, we have 6, or square root of 6 minus 2 plus 2, and should equal square root of 2 times 6 plus 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 2 times 6 is 12 plus 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 12 plus 4 is 16. 2 plus 2 is 4. Square root of 16 is 4. So that does check. So we have a solution of 6. If you have any comments, questions, or requests for future videos, please share that in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more of my videos. And thank you for watching.